into the party wagon and hold on to your pizza. Hello everybody, welcome to Epic Tales from the Sewers. This is your host Justin. Just before I get into this, it kind of goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is a recap and a opinion of the Last Ronin #1. If you have not had a chance to get a hold of it or read it, or if you don't want any spoilers, go ahead and skip and come back to this one later. We're going to read through the entire book. We're going to give our opinions on it. But I just want to make sure that everyone who is trying to avoid the spoilers for it, that they do so. Also, this is not a kid-friendly story. There's a lot of violence in it and revenge and some dark tales. So if this is something that you might want the kids to avoid, there's not necessarily any bad language, but just other than that, you might want to rethink that. So that said, we can dive into The Last Ronin, issue #1. The Last Ronin, with story by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Tom Waltz. Script by Tom Waltz and Kevin Eastman. Layouts by Kevin Eastman. Pencils by Isao and Isaac Escaroza. Page 39 art by Ben Bishop. Color assistance by Samuel Plata, with over 69 different variant covers. We open up on a figure of a turtle who's dressed completely in black. He has each of the original Turtles' weapons on him: Raphael's sai, Leonardo's sword, Donatello's bow staff, and Michelangelo's nunchucks. So we can't really tell who it is. He has a black mask. He looks old. There's many lines on his face. He has some red goggles around his neck, and he's wearing a hood. He has sandals like a ninja would have on. It says, "Now." Forget the temperature. It's the toxicity levels that'll gotta be off the charts. You'd have to be crazy to swim in that sludge, we hear a voice off-screen say. The turtle says, "Maybe, but no bridges and no boats don't leave me much of a choice." "Cold, huh?" "Yeah, all the time. Stay behind if it bothers you that much." "Hey, where you go, we go. You know that." "Yeah, I know." He wades into the water about waist deep, then up to his midsection. He says, "Okay, enough chit-chat." And he's off. We see a giant walled version of Manhattan, as it says, Last Ronin Part 1. See you on the other side. The bridges have all been destroyed. It's an island. There's no way to get out, and very few ways to get in. We see that this is a giant gulag city that is built with a, looks like a Japanese architecture pagoda in the center. There's some searchlights going around, and all bridges have been destroyed. Next, he's coming through the water as he comes up in some debris fields up by the giant wall. As he pops his head above water, we can see his mask and his hood. He says it's cold. Tastes bad. As the water drips down, it's brown like sludge. He runs around the side of the wall. He says, "Definitely not fit for human survival, but that's okay. I'm not human, and I've got plenty of nasty tricks of my own." A nice close-up on the Ronin's outfit here, as he produces 2 throwing stars and throws them at a camera. Couple of crappy cameras, rusty barbed wire, no guards. Looks like they're way more worried about folks getting out than getting in. He takes a grappling hook out of his belt, and he throws it over the edge and makes his climb. He jumps over the barbed wire, and we see a futuristic cityscape, complete with what looks like a little Easter egg of the party wagon, but also there's a bunch of cars that seem to be flying. He lands in the classic superhero pose, teeth gritted. He looks around. He says, "It's time to finish this, or die trying," as he holds a sai in his hands. He goes into an alley. He says, "Crap." He was expecting resistance, but he didn't realize there'd be so many people. He looks on at Hilty's pub, and he sees that there's a whole line of motorcycles there waiting with a whole bunch of patrons. A voice from off-screen says, "What, you expecting a leisurely stroll the whole way or something? And we thought the Lower East Side was overcrowded before." "Doesn't matter. The plan stays the same. Just need to get from here to there." He points the side towards the pagoda building. "How, tough guy? Grab a cab? That's a long-ass hump, and a mutant packed head to toe with weapons don't exactly blend in." "He's right. We're inside the walls now. Security will be off the charts." The Ronin responds, "Tell me something a little more obvious. Besides, you know the drill. Adapt and overcome." He has his eye set on one of the motorcycles. We see some of the punks looking on. "Hey, Jones, check it out. Some fool jacked your wheels." "Jones? Are you freaking kidding me?" she says. She's got black hair, and it looks like she's got, sort of Gene Simmons from Kiss eye makeup on that come down in like spikes from underneath her eyes as she wears a purple cap that has goggles on it and a purple motorcycle jacket. This is Jones. We don't know much about her other than that. She just says, "Who the hell's that stupid?" We see the Ronin now on his motorcycle. Not much of a stealth move, but then again there's something to be said for hiding in plain sight as he blasts through the area on the motorcycle. Old Turtle, new tricks. He pops a wheelie. Base of the tower. That's a long way up and there's guards everywhere. Should have stole a glider instead, Snake Plissken. Reference to Escape from New York. Or a catapult, silent but deadly. Not a bad idea, except the silent part. I just need a little diversion. As he pulls the bike off, he has a stick of what appears to be dynamite in his hand. He says, "Countdown, 3, 2, 1, as he jumps off and does a backflip off of the motorcycle with the dynamite in the handlebars as he sets it towards a fuel truck. "What the?" Some of the men working on it see it and run. Boom! Blast off! We see the Ronin with behind him is a giant explosion that seems to be pushing him forward. I can't say if the men made it out okay. I lied. To pull this off, I am going to need some luck, as he lands on the hood of a car and then bounces off a building and does a forward roll flip until he's barely able to grab onto the ledge of a nearby building and then take off what looks like an air cover from one of the AC units. "That was graceful," we hear a voice off screen say. "Worked, didn't it?" The voice comes back. "Check out those cables. We hack in, we might be able to download a map this level." "No time," says the Ronin. Really great artwork here where we see a full body shot of him. Plus, don't let your eyes get fooled by all these tubes and cables, because the nose knows the truth. You can take the turtle out of the sewer, but you can't take the sewer out of the turtle. "What does that even mean?" says the voice off screen. "No matter what's changed," as he looks on to some lights that are coming down from the ceiling that are pink after he makes his way through just a whole jungle of cables. "This is still our home turf." As he goes up through a manhole. We hear beep, 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 beep. I don't recall a lot of manhole alarms back in the day. "Zip it," he says to the voice. "Halt," as a security bot comes up behind him. "Crap," the Ronin says. Security lightly armored. Some kind of RoboCops. "Intruder." "Roger." Time for an old trick. In his palm he's got 3 spheres that make smoke as he throws them to the ground. "Halt, halt," as he takes off. "Central, we have an intruder in Delta Quadrant. In pursuit," says one of the robots as he scans and we can see his laser-like eyes going across the alley as the Ronin looks on from atop. "Fully integrated robotic security with katana. I gotta get a closer look at this." He jumps down upon him. He says, "Halt," as he smacks him. Now this robot looks very similar to the G.I. Joe character Snake Eyes, even with the same visor, I would say. He punches him square in the face. It says, "Whap!" And he kicks him with a flock. And then when he sees that he's lying on the ground hurt, Robo-Ninja Cops, tougher than it looks. He pulls out his tonfa, which are clubs similar to nightsticks. He says, "Let's find out," as he goes at him, and he cracks him one really good, knocking the sword out of his hand. "Halt!" Damn. Broken record. He knocks off his head. You can see the start of a man, actually, his eye poking through. He says, "What the hell?" The voice off screen says, "That is a human inside that armor. Looks like some kind of cyborg. I think more synthetic than human. A synthetic ninja? A stinking Sinja? What kind of sick freak does that to someone?" Ronin responds, "The reason I'm here, that's who," as he stands triumphant over the dead ninja. "Unit 109 has been disabled." Place is gonna be crawling with these things soon. Scanning for suspect. He jumps up onto the roof using his grappling hook. Need to keep moving. Gotta stay on the mission. Target acquired? Affirmative. And remember the first lesson our father ever taught us. Strike hard. Fade away. Never lose focus. He attacks two of the ninjas from the top, using one swipe of his katana and decapitating both of them. Putting his sword back into the holster behind him, he looks upon the pagoda building. Halt! As he's seen running away again. Suspect located. Residential complex 661. Requesting air support. Proceed with caution. Now one of them shows up and he's got a gun. But this time, improvising. Looks like a hat rack was thrown through both of their heads at the same time and it takes two of them out. Halt! They're fast, says the Ronin, as one of them pulls out a laser weapon to shoot at him, packing more than swords too. Ronin escapes by going on a building and the ledge just above the window where the gun-toting cyborg was. Close quarters combat's a mistake. I'll just end up painting myself into a corner. Halt! As he kicks him, and he kicks him all the way down onto the top of a car that would just happen to be speeding by as it's flying. To be a true warrior, one must know when to crouch, when to leap, and when to stand firm. This time he ends up jumping and ending up on top of a train that's passing by as he jumps off. And most importantly, when to fly. As we see him do a sort of a dive, a half-gainer sort of Greg Louganis dive off of the train. He actually lands on a police car. Need to get to the upper levels faster. As he reaches in to grab the police cyborg and actually throw him out as he says, halt! And he hijacks the police car. He says this should help. Or not, as it flips over backwards, nearly throwing him out. It says controls are jammed. He crashes through a billboard. This isn't good. He ditches it and does a forward roll. And just as he sticks the landing, seriously, it falls to the ground and explodes. The voices off screen say, smooth moves. Classic. You still can't even fly 10 feet in a straight line. Ronan responds with, whatever. Shut up. They're right. I need to stick to what I know best. And this is more like it. As he's running across the rooftops, we see a silhouette of him jumping from building to building. Close up on the pagoda building, he says, I'm coming for you. The scene changes to the building itself. Oroko Hiroto. Am I mistaken, Captain Izuka, or is there some kind of disturbance currently taking place in the Middle District? That's affirmative. We have an unidentified intruder, Master Hiroto. Most likely a rogue derelict from the Bottom District. Where exactly is the rogue derelict currently? We have him surrounded in the lower business zone. Permission to sound the general alarm? Permission granted. And close up on the eyes. Looks very similar to the Shredder. He's got brown eyes, long black hair, a very long withdrawn face. He's slim and in a black ninja outfit as he looks out upon a giant window where he can see a great vantage point of the city. We see a whole bunch of crows that seem to be flying around, circulating in this room that he's in. Insubordination from the lower classes cannot be tolerated. Lessons must be learned from this, Captain. Examples must be made. Master, the man says, ensure that our troops have live video feeds running at all times. I want this important operation broadcast to the entire city top to bottom. Pursuit, capture, execution. Oroko Hiroto, so-called master of the Foot Clan. As we see now, we've gone back to the Ronin who's running on a rooftop. Karai's bastard son. The Shredder's grandson. From the day we were born, from our father trained my brothers and me to fight this war between our families. For respect, for honor, for revenge. And now, after decades of murder and death, I've had enough. I think you just ran out of miracles, bro, the voice says off screen. We've been in tough spots before, but this is practically impossible. As we look on to the increased security detail trying to get into the building. Same as it ever was for us. And I quit believing in miracles a long time ago, says the Ronin. But I am a ninja. Huh! And he jumps onto the bottom of a police car, and he does a duck and roll and then hides in some cover, getting into the building. Easy, there's military-grade equipment and hardcore foot soldiers everywhere, says the voice off screen. Another voice says, yeah, the entrance to the upper level is way on the other side of the platform. Well then, says the Ronin. I'd better get a ride. Commence transport. Rod... As the Ronin takes out one of the sentries, they won't expect a direct attack. This could buy a few extra minutes as he gets onto looks like a motorcycle, driving indoors to get to where he needs to. Need to get through the main tower doors before they know what hit him, as he drives head-on, taking out men carrying boxes as he goes. Halt! Authorization required! Guard station's offline. As he crashes he narrowly jumps off of the motorcycle as it crashes into the guard station. In the explosion, we hear him say, "Should save me the time I need to." Damn! Time's up. He draws a sigh in the tonfa as he jumps in to fight off these sentries. We see him going through them quite easily, and he takes the final one out with a giant choke, which is a jumping kick. He throws some more of the little spheres for smoke bombs, cracks a smile, and he's off. Another large explosion. Something fast. Halt. Upgrades. Lethal force authorized. As a cyborg comes to him, it looks like they have the body of a woman, and it's on rollerblades, and it has some blades on its arm. Completely white with 3 red marks for where its mouth would be and 2 red eye holes. He throws some spikes at it. He catches it, knocks it off guard. More toys, Hiroto. Machines doing all your fighting for you. Gutless. As he takes it, grabs it, and throws it. Flash over to Hiroto, who's watching this. Captain Izuga, why am I looking at the terrorist infiltrator inside the lower levels of my tower? Master, I understand your concern, but we have activated every resource available to stop him. No, I don't think you understand. Either I have his head on a pike before this day is through, or I'll have yours. Forward back to a picture of the Ronin, dismantling the female robot with the blades on her arms. Snap! Snaps her neck. I know you're watching, Iroko Hiroto, and I know you're scared. I'm coming for you, you coward, he says into the camera. Hiroto says, while looking into a screen, A mutant turtle? I want all available foot to the tower now! Exterminate that blasted thing! Target located. Looks like a platoon of stormtroopers in the white armor head up towards him. He makes quick work of them, up close and personal. It takes them all out. He's on to level 2 now. Biometric security. A voice says, Yeah, guess an old-school retinal scanner. He takes one of the cyborgs and puts him up to the retina scanner. Thanks again, pal. Slam gets in. Elite ninja, I must be getting close. As he sees some more of these white ninjas, these time different, with a shield on their arm and what looks like a spear on the other hand. By the order of Iroko Hiroto, master of the Foot Clan, you cannot pass. Drop your weapons and await extermination. He lunges at them with the sword. Don't think I will. He starts out by cutting off one of their legs, then the head of another. Then he dodges the blade attack for another and stabs him through the midsection, cuts off his arm, and then with a hi-ya, cuts off the other foot. These machines are fast and strong. But for all their fancy programming, they lack sheer will. As he puts an explosive on one and kicks it out the window, we see the picture of the tower and how far he's actually gotten up, an explosion right outside. Back to Hiroto. Incompetent fools! Activate the Stockman tech! I want that monster dead! Me? He says, as he prepares his grappling hook. Sheer will is all I have left. I'm here, Hiroto. Your destiny's at hand. Face me! Blathering idiot, he says, looking into a screen. You actually believe I'd soil my own hands with your filth? I am master here, master of all. Others do my every bidding. Still, I thought I'd killed off all you pathetic mutants before. A mistake I will not make twice. We see coming through the wall, looks like modified Mausers. Flying Mausers with lasers? As they shoot lasers at him. Fine. Localized EMP for the little ones, as he smacks together his tonfa, and it takes out the small ones. Then the large one, which has a giant cycloptic eye and Mauser mouths on its hand. He says something more conventional for the big one, as he stabs him through the midsection with a sword. Wait, no, our momentum, too fast! As they both end up falling out the window with a ksh. No, not like this. We see them both, their silhouettes, falling from the skyscraper. Not after I came so close. Was the Ronin still fighting and trying to decapitate the monster as he falls. He says, falling, as the people above look as he falls. And there's falling glass all around them. We see him on the ground. Looks like he hit pretty hard because there's fractures in the ground all around him. He spits up blood. Hiroto, come face me. Still alive somehow. Hiroto, you coward! Everything feels broken. All citizens disperse immediately, says one of the cyborg robots. By order of Master Iroko Hiroto. The Ronin gets up. I won't let them finish me this way. I won't dishonor my family. As he gets up, heavily bleeding from the mouth, he holds onto his ribs. Disperse immediately. Not anymore. Disperse. Lethal force authorized. Hey, bag of bolts. Dude you're looking for is not dead. He took off that way, says Jones. All foot units. The terrorist is still alive. Redirect pursuit towards Central Park. You guys hang here and make sure they don't backtrack. I'm gonna check it out. Holy hell, this guy's bleeding out big time, says Jones as he follows a trail of blood that leads to an open manhole. And says, and down he went. Back to the tower with Hiroto. His petty desire for revenge crushed along with his abominable body. A foregone conclusion, of course. The foolish beast actually believed he could destroy me and settle some archaic family feud. Me? Fah, horrible imbecile, never had a chance. Which does beg the obvious question. If vengeance was the why of the creature's clumsy assault, then what was the how? No matter. You do not need to worry. As always, I have all under control. Nothing will ever threaten my ironclad rule over this city, this empire I have forged, and you will always be here to share in my glory and to witness as I finish all that you could not. He looks upon a woman who's in a cryogenic chamber. Dearest mother, must be Karai. One of his underlings comes up. Master Hiroto. Ah, Captain Ishikuza. But why so empty-handed? Nothing left of the carcass to deliver? No, Master. The terrorist remains loose. The face of Hiroto is here, as we can see it, and he does not look pleased. Back to the Ronin in the sewers. Could have gone down fighting, let those things finish me off, but that'd just be avoiding the inevitable. Bleeding heavily as he walks through the sewer. Knew this was a suicide mission from the start. He coughs up some blood. Flood. We see him hit the ground. Need to end this on my own terms. For my family. Honor. A voice off screen says, Dude, you don't gotta do that. Quiet! No more talking. We see the Ronin as he disrobes, as he takes off all but his mask. So he takes off the black uniform. He holds Donatello's bow staff. He holds the katana that was broken on the robot from Leonardo. He holds Michelangelo's nunchucks. Coughs up blood again. Holds Raphael's side. Coughs up blood again. He lays the weapons out before him. We were always so different. As we see laid down, he's on his knees. Laid down before him, the side, the nunchuck, the bow staff, and the broken katana blade. But so much alike. As he opens up a zipper pouch that has 4 different colored bandanas that he lays across the weapons. One blue, one purple, one red, one orange. I miss my brother so much, and I miss my father. A journal with Japanese writing on it. He lays that down as well. More than anything else, I wanted to make them proud. An old turtle we can see, and it looks like he has lots of spots on him that have been there. Picks up the remnants of Leonardo's sword. Tests it to make sure that it's sharp. In the end, too little too late, story of my life. We see him kneeling down, about to commit harikari, a ritual suicide for those who have lost honor in the Japanese culture. I'm sorry, Father, I failed. Please forgive me. Too much blood. Never lose focus. As we see him coughing up blood, Jones comes up behind him and interrupts him. What the? No, not yet. As he keels over from exhaustion and probably blood loss. Not like this. Holy crap, no, wait, you're a mutant turtle, says Jones. We see on the next page, it looks like a heart rate monitor. You guys don't wake him up soon. I'm eating the last bagel, says a smiling turtle face. The other 2 stand behind him. Hey, Sleeping Beauty, wake up, we got things to do. Oh man, one of the turtles says as he's sitting in the bed. Who smashed a cement truck into my skull? More like a fleet of cement trucks, the other turtle says. Yeah, we've seen prettier things pulled out of the East River in spring. The other one in the doorway, he says, whatever, where are we anyways? Duh, says one of them in the doorway. Welcome home. Home, says the turtle in the bed. What do you mean? Hold up. Is this the old sewer lair? We see the turtle in the bed who's convalescing while the other 3 brothers are talking to him. And it does appear that they're back into the old sewer lair. What are you expecting, the Ritz or something, Twinkle Toes? And who said you could use my favorite blanket? How the hell did we... He's just so confused as he's all bandaged up. Thank God you're up. Oh my God, he looks over. April? Is that really you? Yes, it's me. We see April's face as she comes in. She looks like she has aged quite a bit. And now we've gone back to the Ronin sitting in the bed, bandaged up, where it looks like he's been fixed up and brought here by someone to be with April. And April says, "And I'm so relieved to see you awake. You really had me worried, mister. But who were you just talking to, Michelangelo?" And that's the end of issue 1, The Last Ronin. All right, folks, back on Epic Tales from the Sewers. This is Justin, and I am here with Andy, and we're going to give our reactions on The Last Ronin Issue 1. So, Andy,
Cowabunga, dudes! Be warned, spoilers ahead.
well, at this point, they've already listened to it, so it's it's okay. I don't think there's much we can give away because we did the entire issue, so not a worry. But Andy, so you know, going through this, like re-listening to the episode that we had did with our special guest Scott, it seems like you nailed kind of a lot of this.
Yeah, I kind of freaked myself out a little bit. That there was even a rumor that I had someone on the inside, but I assure you, I don't. I'm not that cool yet.
I heard that you had started that rumor, but
Yeah,
yeah, but so on this, it starts out and it's the thing that gets me is that solicitation that we had with the art. Like they pretty much recreated the entire thing, like from page 0 to page 1 again. So that was kind of interesting. The art is definitely different than it was before. It has this Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns mixed with like the urban legend turtles. It looks a little bit like that too. um what's your thought on the art?
I I think it definitely looks cleaner than the preview that I had. Um, I'd have to dig it out of the plastic there and look at them side by side again because I first got them. I took pictures of both of them side by. Actually, I have those somewhere. I took pictures of them side by side to kind of get a look and see what changed. And I think it changed for the better. It's like the delay was worth the wait. Um,
Which is a rarity,
as
I
much of a
think.
cowabummer,
Yeah. I mean, it's a rarity too,
it,
where it's
it,
like something actually lives up to the hype nowadays. But it's like I can say in terms of like anticipated comics of the year, this is the highest one, and I mean the numbers reflect that, and the fact that comic book stores sold out and they couldn't even keep it on the shelves and all that. Everybody was waiting for this book, and it absolutely delivered. The larger format, the 48 pages or 46 page, however many it is, as opposed to just having like a regular 22 page issue book. Man, it's such a satisfying, like it's like biting into a sandwich that has bacon on it, you know. It's
yeah, it was all the joys of a trade paperback at a it was cheaper than what a trade paperback is, but it was slightly more than a regular comic, but there was no ads. That's the one thing I love. Excuse me. That's the one thing I loved about it was that there was no, little commercial breaks in your comic book there, especially for as big as it was. They could have really like threw some ads in there, but like, I mean, it was just pure turtle
Yeah,
greatness.
like they're really trying to push like Transformers or their other properties. Like they have Mask, they have GI Joe, they have My Little Pony. But in this case, it was like all business. So it was. I didn't even consider that until you said it. So I think that's a good one. That's pretty cool.
Let me see here. I'm trying to figure out what the page number is. It looks like it is page 6, middle panel. He's jumping over the wall, and you can spyball what it's clearly supposed to be a party wagon of some sort. But it's at least the color scheme of a party wagon.
Yeah, I think you nailed that. That is the party wagon there, because like just looking at it, it's like it's pretty evident that that's what that is supposed to be. Now,
Now,
going through this book and like just seeing it, did you have any inkling that what they were doing was trying to give you like some misinformation about who the turtle would be based on the on all the dialogue coming from off screen?
yeah, at first, when you first read through it, you really think that they totally pulled a Raph herring on you.
Yeah.
Like, I read the turtle in kind of like a Dirty Harry voice, just like gravelly. And even as I read, I knew who the turtle was. But I kept going back and going. I keep reading this like Raph. I keep reading this like Raph. I'm like, maybe it is. Maybe it is Raph. And then it's like, no, it's definitely not. And then it's like the more and more I read into it, and the more and more I thought back on my theory, I'm gonna stick by it. I'm gonna stick by, and it's gonna be my prediction till the end until I'm told I'm wrong. That he's cracked. It's Mikey's body, but they're all sharing it in some capacity. He's either channeling these spirits of his brothers, or he's developed some sort of split personality disorder where he's trained like each one of the brothers would train, and he's clearly proficient with all their weapons.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's always been the case. They're just preferential to one, or if he literally like after they fell, he's been training for the last 10 years. Because that's the timeline we're looking at, right? It's
Well, if you look at it too,
the
like
the
in the beginning of the book, he favors the Psy. Like he is like absolutely favoring the Psy. And then as the story goes on, he picks up the Tonfa and he's using the Tonfa. He makes like the EMP somehow with that to take them out. He's cutting off heads with the swords, the katana after that. He doesn't seem to use the bow staff as much until later on. I think when he fights the giant robot, he uses it. But it's like they're trying to bait you. Just be, oh well, if that's his favorite weapon, maybe he's this. And with like the voices that are coming off screen,
oh
like I clearly heard Donatello off screen. I clearly heard it. I'm like, okay, not Donnie going through. And then it's like, that could be Leo. Oh, be careful, it's dangerous, or something like, oh, thanks, mom. Or like whatever he's saying.
yeah
And then the
yeah
third voice, it's like, is this Raph or is this Mikey? So it's one of those things where it was like, oh man, I'm not
because
sure, but
Raph's snarky at times. He's got that snarky attitude, but it's like it's always like a rude joke or like an insult humor. Like Mikey was always like upbeat humor, but it's like Raph was funny too at times, but it was more so like in an insulting
and see, we talked
the,
about
the big brother.
the IDW series and how like Mikey had like a bit of a darker sense of humor and stuff too. So
Yeah,
it's kind of more consistent with that, and the fact that this has been shelved for like 30 something years and all that, it's like wow, they kind of nailed where he is right now. It's kind of cool.
yeah. It definitely got dark. But now you're saying about their weapons, and it's like I'm gonna reread this after we're done here, and probably come up with a new theory. But just I'm gonna spitball something here. So he comes in as Raph, and he comes in with the size, and he's got a Raph attitude about things. Like I'm going in here for revenge. I'm angry. Then when he starts doing some of the acrobatic and goofy stuff, he's got the Mikey weapon.
Hmm.
Then when it's time to get down to business and actually like fight, he's using the Leo weapon.
Yeah.
And when a tech solution is required, he's using a Donnie weapon. So that just gives merit to the. Is he channeling the brothers through their weapons? Like, is he like connecting to them? Because they've astral projected before in comics and the movies and everything. And I'm wondering if there's not some spiritual connection between these weapons and the situation that he's in, and that's why he's. And it's not really like a tactical decision of, oh, I'm using this weapon because it's more efficient now. It's like I need to be in this frame of mind at this moment, so I'm using this weapon.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny that at this point because it's like what you're saying, it could be true. It's just one of those things where it's like where we just don't have enough information. But
Oh yeah, no. With issue number one, it was like we went into it with a lot of just from the art, but it's like I think that they knew exactly what they were doing, and I think that the 30-year wait shelviness, I think it's doing a lot better now than it would have then. I think it would have been good then, but now it's like you've got the nostalgia of like, oh, these are our turtles. These are the Gen 1 turtles. This is the original set of brothers. Um, and it's
yeah,
there's I've often said that there's a turtle for every generation, and I'm even going to give the rise of the TMNT another shot, but I think that is for kids now.
I'm
But
all
the
for
Ronin, the
anything that
Ronin,
gets people into turtles. So whether it's that or whether it's the next mutation or coming out of your shells, any of that stuff, like I'm fine with it.
the Bay movies,
Yeah, which
that,
you
that
know,
that it's got jokes for the adults, but yeah, it's like but no, Ronin is definitely your your dad's or even your granddad's turtle.
yeah,
But
I
God,
feel
that's weird to think about.
like where the demographic they were going for anyway. They're like, let's go for that older adult audience that, they're not teenage mutant ninja turtles anymore. They're just, mutant ninja turtles at this point. So, I think that they were going in that direction. I think honestly, my opinion of the book is the art was phenomenal. They did a really good job with colors because the colors have to go between like a grim and gritty futuristic landscape to like this city and like the bad guy Oroko Hiroshi or like all of that stuff, like it kind of transitions very well and it goes from like these like grim tones to like these bright vibrance to like this grim tone again, but it's like different. It's like everything looks cold. I think that the colors play a really good part in the story, and the art is really good. The pacing of the book was excellent. So it takes you on the story and it literally feels like a journey. So I really enjoyed this issue. I think it was masterfully done.
Yeah, it got me when I was waiting for it to come out, and I was trying to figure out who this girl was. It started to get a little anxiety, and I'm not even gonna lie, it got a little hard to breathe there for a minute. Like I was like, I've got to know. It's like this is tearing me up something terrible. I should not be this worried about a fictional character. And then when he's laying out the weapons, and he's like getting ready to perform his last rites on himself, and it's like,
My God,
wow,
what a
man,
scene!
it's like it it caught you right in the throat. It was like, man, it was like he really felt for this turtle. Like you went on this journey with him, and it's like he was fully prepared to, do it. He was, gonna, you know, end this one way or another as he put it on his terms.
And you look at
Um,
it, he's got the weapons. So what you're talking about is a scene where he has the weapons. He's got the staff, the nunchuck, the sai, and the half of Leo's sword left laid out in front of him. He opens up a little pouch and lays out all the bandanas of his brothers, including his own. And we don't know who he is at this point, and we have a journal from Splinter, and it just says, "I miss my father." Then the next thing we see is he hunches over, still bleeding from the mouth, and he picks up this shard of a sword. He makes sure it's sharp, and he's about to kill himself. It's crazy, It's like what an
yeah,
intense scene. And I know, like the first thing you and I talked about is like, oh my god, what's your favorite scene? Oh, obviously this one. So
yeah,
and then it looks like he either has a heart attack or just keels over from blood loss or something. It's just like crazy. It's like what the hell happens? Then he's rescued by what we can only imagine is the descendant of Casey Jones.
yeah. It says Jones. And I know a lot of people, and I don't know at what point the light switch clicked on, but some at some point I became some kind of turtle guru or something. People are messaging me now and are like, "Hey, like, you know, what do you think about Jones?" And I'm like, well, clearly she knows April because she's the one that found him. And then, the next thing he wakes up and hey, surprise, here's April O'Neil alive. And
So what do you
well,
think? Daughter, granddaughter, Casey and April have a kid, and it's this one because it's 30 years.
I think a lot of people want it to be Casey and April's kid or their grandchild somehow related. But it's like in one of those shows, Casey had a sister. He had a sister. Um,
Did he?
so could very well.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't know.
Uh, was it the 2012 series? I think she was involved with the Foot. She was in danger of joining the Foot.
Oh, oh, the little kid. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
2003
but
series. Yep.
okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. But like I said, it's like I don't know if that's canon, but I think a lot of people want it to be, April and his kid. Or like I said, even granddaughter. She looks really young to be the kid for as weathered as April's looking. But then again, what did she look like
Well, April's in pretty
10
good
years
shape.
ago?
So, and I mean, you think about it too. If April started out in her 20s and now it's 30 years later, that puts her in her 50s to 60s. So, all of this is within
Yeah,
the realm of possibility. So, depending on how old she was at that point, and this is 30 years later, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And plus, this
yeah, or
this one could be 20, she could be 30. You never know. I think
yeah,
it all kind of fits. I just think it's cool. Like they have some really cool designs. It's almost like a cyberpunk sort of thing, and she's like a biker, and she looks like the Crow a little bit with the kind of eye makeup that's coming down, and like the kind of wispy black like
yeah.
spiky hair. Yeah, it's pretty neat. And I know we had talked about this. Do you have a favorite variant cover? Like out of the ones that you've seen?
Um,
Because I know they're
man.
still coming. Like
Okay, yeah, I can actually check here in the back. I can check here in the back. Um, I'm really liking this collector's cave art by Raymond Gay. The one where it's got the three brothers behind him. It's got Casey's mask on. Is it the bow staff or is that Leo's? I'm trying to zoom in here. Okay, it looks like that's on the sword. It looks like Splinter's coat is on the bow staff and Splinter's body's on the ground. It's like that really like breaking my heart. It's beautiful, but it's breaking my heart to look at. I wouldn't want to like own that forever. Then we've got the one with the four spirit turtles. I know a lot of people like that one.
that's
I have it for
that's
the
the
lock
one
screen
that
on my
I was able
phone.
to get. If I don't see it on this page, but I have the other one, which I think is probably my favorite. The one that I got, it's the Spirit Turtles, and it doesn't even seem to show up here on this one. But it's like the ones where they're ghosts in the sky instead of the ones who are like putting their hands on them. That's such a cool cover. And I was
Yeah,
so excited that I got it. And I mean, there's other ones that on here. If you see the one where he's holding the blade and it's his face with the skull, I have um, I have two of those coming, hopefully soon. Those are just amazing, and that artist Miko Surinam,
which there's three of them. There's the color, the
correct.
okay. There's three. There's
I have two of
the
those
one that's in
coming.
color, the one that's in all black and white, and the one that has black and white with a red mask. I like this one down here that looks like a Mad Magazine cover. This is probably my favorite. If I could get it, it would be the one I want.
Oh, so you like
Comics and
the
Ponies art by Justin and Kevin.
yeah the Justin Roiland Rick and Morty creator? Yeah, it's interesting. It's some interesting stuff.
Yeah, the one that's in color.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a
Yeah,
stinker
that's the one.
among the
That's the one
bunch.
that
Like there's some it's like I'd like to have, and some that I'm not going to really pursue. But I'm a big fan of these Ben Bishop covers too. I think that he nails this character in a way that some of the other people, it's like they look like okay, I'm drawing a character, and it's like the Ben Bishop ones. I'm like I feel like he gets this character and he owns it. So I'm a big fan of those, like especially the
Okay,
one with the motorcycle. So if folks get to see this,
I found.
there are some really cool alternate covers here, and I highly suggest trying to see what you can pick up. Um, who knows what's going to happen with these? But there's 69 different covers, so obviously they can't put them all in here. But there's
You're talking about the Tom Wiz, Toy Wiz. Sorry, Toy Wiz art by Ben.
yeah.
Because there's two other motorcycle
Oh,
covers.
by the way, I found the cover I
Yeah.
was
Okay,
talking
I
about.
found one.
Mine,
Here's
mine's Johnny DeJardinis. That's the one I was talking about with the turtle ghosts behind him. That's my favorite. That's the one I was able to pick up.
gotcha.
And the one, actually, I didn't even realize this.
Here's the one.
Your big time collectibles one is your current wallpaper. So that's the Ronin art that you have for your wallpaper on your phone right now. That is one of these retailer exclusive covers. How about that?
Gotcha. Yeah, I found one that I don't like. It's not that it's bad, and it's not that it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't fit the aesthetic. It's the Jetpack Comics by Rich Woodall. It's a little anime. It's a little bright, just considering all the other covers and the tone of the comic. It looks more fit for a Jenica comic than a Last Ronin.
Oh, I get you. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad drawn by any means. It's just it's way too bright. Like if something's got to come in last, that would probably be. Holy smokes!
Yeah,
What's this one? Sorry, people, didn't mean to scare. One Stop Shop by Justin Mason. That's wow. It's got like the paper wall doors. Okay, there's one in yellow, and it looks like Kill Bill yellow, and then this one's got it like all tore up and dystopian looking in the background. I like that.
yeah. No, there's some cool stuff here. So I know we've kind of jumped ahead a bit, but that last panel, right? The panel before has this amazing art by Ben Bishop, and it's a
Two.
flashback. It's got the turtles and they're young, and one of the turtles is in a bed convalescing, and we don't know who it is yet, and all that, and he's just like, "Oh, what's going on? Home? Oh my God, I thought you guys were dead. What's going on?" And then we hit the last page, and what's your reaction when you read this and you see April O'Neil's there, and she looks like she's seen a lot. She's definitely looking old at this point, and then she drops that bomb and she goes, "Who are you just talking to?"
She still looks
Michelangelo.
good. I don't care.
Yeah, oh, she always looks good, I imagine. But so
Even now, it gives me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps. It gives me literal chills, and it just like I think I did. I think I teared up a little bit because it was like I just knew no matter which way this ended, my heart was going to break either for him or because of him, and it's like it. My heart literally breaks for him at this point.
I think that they did the right thing by
It hits
choosing
so hard, and it's like
Michelangelo. It makes the most narrative sense in the fact that, in an interview, Kevin had said that it was always Michelangelo. Since he was the first turtle, he was going to be the last. And it makes sense organically.
wow. It did though. It did to see him like just evolve and become the last Ronin. That's like I think I think Mikey's gone. I really do think Mikey's gone, and I think that what we're looking at now is the last Ronin. She called him Mikey, and I I'm curious to see if the next issue if he responds to it. I'm
Oh, so
really
you
curious to
mean
see if he's
like you might say,
Mikey,
you
I
have to
haven't
call
heard
me
that name, and
Ronan, or
he might be like Mikey died 10 years ago along with the other bros. It's like then who are you? I'm the last Ronin. That's like oh he said it but yeah it's like he's like is last Ronin just the title? Is the last Ronin his name now? What does he view himself as? That was my next thing I wanted to see, and speculations about things to come. It looks like from the title of the second comic coming is the first of fall.
so we're going to get a flashback. So
I think the next one's called First of All, and I think over the next couple of comics we're going to see how things unfolded. I'd like it to start right at what we're seeing on the cover there, like open scene. Here's Raph surrounded by the Foot Clan, and it's like it looks like he's going to be okay, but the next panel shows what's going on, because I mean he was just peppered with shurikens on the teaser art.
yeah, but I mean,
But he's tough,
yeah,
he can
they've
take
got
it,
tougher
right?
skin.
Like he's gonna be okay.
They got tougher skin. They got the shells. So it's one of those things where we've seen them come back from that before. But I think it's interesting. So, but let's go into final revelations about the book here. And I know we're going to do something else for predictions for the second, so we don't necessarily have to go into that too much. But for just general thought of the book, the tone, the art, all that good stuff, I'm gonna give this an A plus. A 10 out of 10 rating. Anything that I can on this. It's interesting. It brings me back into the fold. If I wasn't a comic reader for Turtles and I got back into it, this would absolutely draw me back in. It's it's just so well crafted, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, yes, give me more of this. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold back the last slice. Like, it's not quite a full pie for me because that would imply perfection with no room for improvement. It's not quite the supreme pizza. It just it's damn close. I mean, it is. It checked all the boxes. The only bad thing I can say about it is it's got me wanting more in the best way possible. But due to them trying to give you the best quality product, the date keeps getting pushed back, and it's like I'm not taking points off because of delays. That I understand that happens, but it's like it's just I want to save that cherry on top for just like I said, I don't want this to be the top of the mountain. I don't want to go. Nothing will ever compare to Last Ronin, but I mean, it's definitely the best I've seen so far. I'll put it at the top of the list. Like you all said, I'll put Ronin up against anything else you got so far. But I think Kevin's got one good more up his sleeve, as well as the rest of the IDW and everybody. I think they've got one more great uh, turtle end all beat all.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and I hear what you're saying. I don't think I don't think it's perfect. I just think that it's like in terms of like checking those boxes. That's why I give it that score.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah, yeah. No, no,
I would
definitely.
put it up
Nine
against
point nine.
I would put it up against like the other book of the year that I was thinking of would be like the Three Jokers, the first issue, because it's like it's so engaging and it has like all these other aspects to it, and it really kind of reminded me of that because it left you with more questions. Just you're like, oh, I have so many questions, and it's like I have so many more questions. So I
Yeah.
think it's amazing, and I'm
Now,
looking forward to the
I know
next one.
some people. I know some people, and this really irks me. Um, some people are not happy that it's Mikey. Some people are like, forget this book. I can't believe they picked Mikey. And it's like, dude, like, Mikey's my favorite turtle. Don't get me wrong. I'm super fanboy, like, happy that it's Mikey. But I also backed up my support of Mikey as a candidate for the Ronin with reasons other than he's my favorite turtle, and that's why I want to see him. I would have been totally fine had it been Raph. I would have been totally fine had it been Donnie. And I'm not gonna lie, I would have been just ever so slightly disappointed if it was Raph or Leo. I would have liked to see in this order: Mikey, Donnie, Raph, Leo. But it just because, like I said, it just Leo was too predictable when Raph's been done before. That's the only reason I would not have been like, I'm not buying the rest. Um, but it sucked me in. It sucked me right in, and I just I don't know if they'll ever hear this or not, but thank everyone that worked on
Oh,
this.
absolutely.
The amount of care and love and effort that they put into this, and it wasn't a shameless cash grab. And it's like they're even printing more comics not because it did so well. We're just gonna print more money. It's like no, it's like they're understanding that the prices on the secondary market are outrageous, and I think it's even a thank you edition, or there was rumor of a thank you edition coming out. I saw I had seen something on one of the official websites to the effect of like, we want to thank you for supporting us. And, to show our appreciation, we're going to do a second running, and I think it's something about he was either as a thank you, or this is going to be a thank you edition, or there's wave 2, and then there's going to be a thank you edition. I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that. So with that, I think that pretty much concludes our thoughts on the first issue. And I want to thank everybody for listening to the episode, and stay tuned for our next installment when we'll do our predictions. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, dudes, and now with your Mikey moment of the week, here is the bodacious Andy Doyle. Cowabunga! Whoa.
Cowabummer, dudes. If you've read The Last Ronin, then you know that I'm the only one left. And if you're listening to this, well, it means that I probably didn't make it. But don't worry, I went ahead and dug 2 graves before I set out on my path of revenge. There's not going to be any witty puns, funny jokes, or comedy of any kind this week. I am on a path of revenge, and I'm serious. Dead serious. Now, I've got to go avenge my brothers and Master Splinter. Wish me luck. I'm going to get even or die trying.
Cowabunga, dudes!
It's pizza time.
Hi, this is Adam, a.k.a. Casey Jones from Casey Jones Livewire, and you're listening to Epic Tales from the Sewers. Time for a knuckle sandwich, punk.
And now, in a segment we'd like to call Pizza Time, here's Mr. Andy Doyle with a real-life pizza recipe from the Ninja Turtles cookbook, or a description of one of the pizzas that was either seen in the episode or in the comic. It's Pizza Time.
Alright, dudes, listen up. It's time for the pizza recipe of the week. I'm going to make this quick, because we don't have any time to spare and none to waste. The pizza recipe for the week is Ronin's Leftover Revenge. That's right, cold pizza, so grab the last slice out of the box, because you know revenge is a dish best served cold. Now let's go get even.
Thank you for listening to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. This podcast has no affiliation with Eastman, Laird, IDW, Archie Comics, Nickelodeon Studios, or any other Turtle properties. This podcast is part of the Epic Sewers Podcast Network. Check out our other great shows, both turtle-related and not. Epic Tales from the Sewers is recorded by Justin Cooper, with featuring Andy Doyle.
In a world where you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, a nation of nerds unites to bring you something truly epic. Amalgamation is proud to present the Epic Airways Podcast Network, featuring great shows such as Amalgacast, Epic Tales Podcast, The Not So Super Dudes, Anime a la carte, Epic Tales of the Sewer, Amalgaphiles, and The Fantastic Podcast.
Hi everyone, this is Justin from the Fantastic Podcast. It's a show all about fan experiences from the things that we love. So whether it's your favorite musician, your favorite actor, maybe it could be about your favorite sports team, or maybe just someone that you spent time with watching something that you loved when you were a kid. These are the kind of stories that we talk about. We usually do a couple stories, and it's a shorter podcast, so you can listen to it on lunch at work. So please check us out at the Fantastic Podcast. You can find us where most podcasts are found. You can also find us on social media. Thanks a lot, and check out the Fantastic Podcast.
Ahoy, adventurers, and welcome to the dungeon. I will be your captain, Ace Diceman. Join me and my first mate, Mr. Cooper, as we set sail on an amazing quest full of fun facts, funny jokes, and some high-sea shenanigans. So climb aboard the Siren Song and let us spin you an epic tale. Look for the Epic Tales podcast on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and iTunes.